This is me, November 2024. Big and fat, looking like the Michelin Man. I had just hit 200 pounds. I had heard too many stories of people bulking and not being able to gain weight, and people just told me to eat 4,000 calories, but the truth is, I was too consistent. I have a medium to fast metabolism, so gaining weight wasn't that much of an issue, and I felt great, but some problems started to come in once I was in the 190 pound range, getting high blood pressure, feeling a little bit foggy in the mind, and not really knowing how much further I should go with the bulk. But I was young, so the health issues weren't much of a worry, but I did start cutting eventually, and that's when I realized that I made a huge mistake. This is me 7 months later, just finishing my first ever cut. I know I looked great for my first time. I was maybe 10 to 11% body fat, but I didn't feel great. I was longing for energy because I hadn't had energy for the last 3 months of the cut when I was getting aggressive, burning fat, doing almost 2 hours of cardio per day. If you guys have to take 7 months to hopefully get a single digit body fat percentage, you definitely took the bolt too far. And if you become athletic like me and start bodybuilding, I personally would never go above that 17 to 18% body fat area, just because being in a deficit for over 4 months is not ideal. Just like staying lean year round isn't very ideal unless you're an influencer. But my point is, even if you're lean and even if you care about putting on size, I would always main gain and never bulk. If I do bulk, it's not going to be over 200 calorie surplus. And I say around 200 calorie surplus because it's easy to have a margin of error when figuring out what your maintenance calories are, but I'm basically saying that just main gain. Maintaining your weight is the best way to build muscle and minimize fat gain. Of course, there are some exceptions to that. If you're too lean, then you're gonna have lower testosterone, you're not gonna be able to build muscle as fast. But if you're too bulky, you're not going to be able to train the greatest either, because you're going to feel so much sluggishness and it's going to prevent you from gains. Most men are reported to feel the greatest between 15 and 18% body fat. At the time I'm making this video, I'm around 14 to 16% and I feel better than I ever have in my life physically. That being said, if you're already in that range, then you're probably good to go for a cut to be as lean as I am in this video. So let's talk about the cut and what I did and what I want to share with you guys. I researched and used every strategy I could find, and these are the 5 best so far. 1 is walking right after eating. So walking right after eating, it helps curb cravings by stabilizing your blood sugar and improving your mood too, which makes it easier to resist unhealthy snacks. Light physical activity like this, it helps regulate the insulin, preventing dramatic blood sugar spikes and sugar crashes that can lead to fatigue and increased desire for sugary foods. These endorphins and increased dopamine levels really just help with your mood and makes you less prone for emotional overeating. 2, intermittent fasting. Hunger can start at the first few days for me, at least from my experience, but later it overall helps with hunger. And make sure you eat around times that you work out. I started doing this 4 months into the cut and it gave me such a great routine, so I definitely suggest doing this. It also shifts your body from burning glucose for energy to burning fat. That produces a couple more metabolic changes, just like lowering your insulin, again, reducing cravings. You don't even have to do it for that long either. I only do a 14-hour fast, so I wake up in the morning and I do my walk, take some L-carnitine, which helps bring fat into the mitochondria, which can maybe speed up some fat loss. And then after I walk, I finally eat at around 2 p.m. 3, drinking water. I drink maybe 17 or 18 cups of water a day. That's just over a gallon. Drinking water supports weight loss by increasing, again, your metabolism, which can slightly lead to more calories burned. But the main thing that it helped me with was just suppressing my appetite, especially an hour or 2 before eating to make me feel a little bit fuller. I usually just do water. Some people just do other low calorie, no calorie drinks, like even Diet Coke, which personally I think that's okay to do. I just don't do it because water is enough for me. And I've also noticed that my food tastes better and I don't get cravings when I just avoid artificial sweeteners. 4, eating your special carbs and fats at night. First of all, if you need energy before your workout, just take a small amount of pre-workout instead of carbs if you really just get that many cravings at night. Especially fats though. When you're on an aggressive deficit, fat is usually just for hormone production, so just consume it at night. If you want, you could do that and then leave your carbs around the time that you work out, before and after. My favorite macro split personally is 40% protein, 40% carbs, and 20% fat. But if I see that my energy is consistently getting lower and lower, I'll just bring my carbs up to around 45% and lower my protein to 35%. Number 5, take your time, especially if you're still far away from becoming stage lean. I say this because if you get on a very aggressive deficit when you're like how I was with my bulk, 20-something% body fat, and you cut for 7 months, you're gonna be very burnt out in the end, and you're not just gonna want to get leaner. Even if you go on a diet break and then you come back, you're just not gonna feel good. I recommend once you get to around 12% body fat, you're still feeling like you could keep going, but just right there, go on a diet break. Maintain for a few weeks to a few months, normalize your body in being, you know, considerably lean, and then go on a super aggressive deficit. Just do a bunch of cardio per day. Go down to like 7% body fat. Do it as fast as you can so that finally you can enjoy life. Another thing you can do, which I might try next time, is go in an aggressive deficit only every other week. So 1 week, do a bunch of cardio with less food, and then on week 2, maybe eat a little bit more, not do as much cardio, and that'll be my easy week. That'll help with my mind reward system and not make it physically impossible. Now, one more thing you gotta look out for when you're on a cut is supplementation. Your body on a deficit is gonna be missing a lot of micronutrients, so that's why I have a video linked in the description below, a little short video on the top 5 supplements that I've taken, and you should as well. I also have a video on my favorite workout split that minimizes fatigue and can maybe maximize muscle gain. So check that out in the description as well, but thank you guys for watching, subscribe, and good luck on your deficit.